Money is the driving force of many facets of your society in Manor Lords. From buying workshops, expanding your livestock, or even purchasing better armament for your soldiers, regional wealth will become a larger focus as you grow. In this video, I want to cover how to make more money in Manor Lords, as it can be tricky at first since there's no outright gold mine in the game or, anything of the sort. Well, at least not yet. If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by upfronting the knowledge in my videos so you can decide if it's the right one for you. So with that being said, we're going to cover a number of things. Upgrading your Burgage plots gets you 1 gold per family per month at level 2 and 2 gold per at level 3. This is a solid and reliable way to get money. Just be careful you don't overextend your upgrades here. Trading will be another big form of income for you, so you make sure you set up trading routes and sell, quote unquote, cash crops such as clay tiles, tools, or even leather and hides in the early game if you have the surplus. Lastly, you'll need to convert some of your regional wealth to your personal treasury, so make sure you do this every so often to help expand your retinue. This is done at your manor using the tax system. It'll convert a percentage of your regional wealth into your personal treasury. Quick disclaimer, keep in mind a lot of what I'll be saying in this video is subject to change, as this is very early in the early access of Manor Lords, and Greg, the developer, has even said that some of the mechanics for trading will be changing very soon. But those are the big 3 takeaways from this video. So if that's all you wanted to know, please feel free to just go ahead and shut the video down and get back to making your millions in Manor Lords. Before you head out, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if this video helped you, as that does have a massive impact on my channel. Lastly, if you've not yet purchased Manor Lords and you'd like to support the channel, you can use the link in my description to my Nexus Store. Nexus gets Steam keys directly from the developer, Greg in this case, and delivers them to you. Like I said, it greatly supports me. Let's get started here on how to make money in Manor Lords. Jumping into the game, let's take a look at Burgage plots to start off with, because I think it's the most reliable and the easiest way to get money online, at least some form of monthly income. Now, one thing you should know too before we even jump into any of this, a lot of things in the game are based on a per month basis, right? Taxation, tithing, the trading coming in, all sorts of stuff. And a quick way to know if a month has come up, other than just looking in the lower right corner here, is your church bell. Your church bell will ring anytime it's a new month. So if you can set this to a specific thing, whatever you want. So maybe in this video, you'll hear a church bell. That means we went from August to September. So just know that. Now, Burgage plots have 3 levels, right? We have a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. So level 1 Burgage plots don't generate any regional wealth. But when you upgrade them to level 2, you see right here that level 2 Burgage plots generate 1 regional wealth per family per month. Meaning that, of course, if I just have a single family here, I'm now going to earn 1 gold once this is a level 2 Burgage plot. Now, the nice thing, and kind of a bit of a, I guess, a tip, as it were, upgrade your duplex Burgage plots to level 2 first, because then you'll be able to get more money out of that Burgage plot at the same cost. So what I'm saying is a duplex would be, so if this is your standard Burgage plot right here, a duplex would be anything with this little guy right here, telling us we can add a little more timber into this and we can now house 2 families there. So this Burgage plot, which houses 1 family, jumping to level 2, will now house, 1 family with the duplex, now housing 2 family at level 2. It will generate 2 regional wealth per month for me. That's huge. Now, we know that we can get that from level 2, and level 2 is pretty reliable. And we're going to talk about the resource requirement for this in just a second here, but level 3 is where things really get spicy. So let's click over here. Here is our Burgage plot level 2, and we see here level 3 Burgage plots generate 2 regional wealth per family per month. You increase your settlement level, but also this important bit: adds living space for 1 extra family and 2 families for plots with living space expansion. So if I have, basically it just doubles the amount of families on any plot, because if I have one family in this plot, if I upgrade to level 3, now I have 2. Well, I have a duplex over here. This Fletcher's shop is a level 3 Burgage plot, and it's a duplex. I've got 2 families. So upgrading it to level 3 now allows me to have 4 families here. I just recently upgraded this, as you can see, so I've only got 2 out of 4. This is crucial because now this 1 plot is generating 8 regional wealth for me per month. 2 gold per family. Well, 8 when I filled it up. So 2 gold per family. This is huge. It's the same exact thing we're going to apply to the previous Burgage plots. Anything going from 1 to 2, we want to try to focus on duplexes first, and anything going from 2 to 3, we want to focus on duplexes first. Now, with all that being said, what are the pitfalls here? Because there are definitely pitfalls. You can kind of think to yourself, cool, I'm just going to upgrade these Burgage plots and I'm good to go. Zippity-doo-dah, bye-bye. That's not true. You do have to be careful, because as we upgrade our Burgage plots, we have some requirements, right? I'm going to go ahead and pause the game because for some reason it's making me distracted. Here are our Burgage plot progressions, right? From 1 to 2 to 3. And it doesn't matter if it's a duplex or not, but what is important is the market supply and requirements for these slots. If you do not have ample supply for this, you're going to hit another slot, like the Fletcher shop, for example, and you're not going to be able to supply it. Not having the supply is different than having the supply and it running out. Here is, I didn't have enough supply to hit this location, but I had enough supply to hit this location, hence I was able to upgrade to level 3, but now I don't have enough to maintain it. This will piss off your pops. You do not want to deal with this. Here's another example of a really far off one. This brewery, depending on time of year and my current supply, is just going to have these little exclamation points. So just make sure you actually have the actual food to support this. And really the difference between a level 2 and a level 3 slot is just 1 extra food. That's it. As you can see, it requires 2 levels of clothing, 2 levels of clothing, 2 levels of church, and then 1 level of tavern, which is kind of the difference between these two, right? And then it just needs that 1 extra bit of food. Now remember too, hovering over these little diamonds is going to tell you exactly what you need for this diamond to be colored in. So this is going to tell me at least 4 types of food. I need shoes, clothes, or cloaks. I need ale. I need a stone church, etc., etc. So yes, this is a really great way to get money, but you just need to make sure that you have the actual market supply and amenities to supply these locations. And remember too, we have talked about this in a number of videos, the distance from the marketplace is going to determine in order which things get hit first. Meaning, so if I'm hovering over clothing, all the things at the closest to the market, which is right where this little placard is, so these things are closest to the market, right? So hovering over the clothing, I can see that the clothes have been fulfilled for those locations. And even hovering over clothing, I can see the 1 and 2 next to those diamonds tells me it's fulfilling the need for a level 1 tier or a level 2 tier, depending on what it is for that respective slot. So just know this, impress this upon yourself, because you can make Burgage plots until you're blue in the face, but if you cannot supply those Burgage plots with fuel, food, and amenities, you're just going to piss off your pops, and the result is going to be no money made for your entire county, manor, whatever it is. Before we jump into the hornet's nest that is trading, let's talk about our manor and doing taxes, because regional wealth is of course what you want to accrue to buy things, but through that regional wealth, you want to convert this to your treasury. Now the treasury is important here because you can see it says can be used for diplomacy, hiring retinue and mercenaries, as well as settling a new region. So if I go and click on this button and I go press this button, hiring mercenaries, this is pulled from my treasury, not from my regional wealth. And that's important to know because you can't just convert the two like pushing something from your checkings to savings. It actually has to go away a whole month. And I'll explain why. So we're going to go ahead and bring up our manor, go press the taxes tab, and we have both a land tax and a tithing tax. The rest of these don't seem to be in the game just yet, or you have to actually unlock them through a different means. But for the most part here, these two items, land tax and tithe, are coming out of larger parent numbers. So tithe, for example, comes from this. 5% of your food is going to the church every month in exchange for influence. And it doesn't seem to be like I think it is actually a 1-to-1, right? So 5%, whatever that 5% number, just goes right into your influence. Now, your land tax is interesting. So land tax is going to convert this regional wealth into your treasury, like we said. So for every 1% over 0, you will lose a predicted approval up to a certain point. 3, 4, 5. Then after this, it starts to hit like a point of diminishing returns. So 5 into 6, oh, didn't go up, but now 7 it did. If I jump up to 10, we can see it is at 10. It is at a -7. So it seems that you can get away with certain percentages of land tax, and it has a bit of a diminishing return, but then it'll ramp up again. It's a bit of like a parabola, as it were, when it comes to, or a bell curve, as it were, when it comes to setting your land tax. Now, this land tax doesn't kick in the second you set it. It only kicks in at the beginning of every single month. So if I, for example, am in August, we are very close to September because this entire video, we've just been hanging out in August. So I'm just going to show you real quick. We're going to set this to 50%. So what's going to happen is I'm going to get hit with a 37 approval penalty, right? But 235 for easy math of my regional wealth is going to convert to treasury. This, like I said, is just so crucial. So I think actually, you know, after you build your manor, having this at like a 2% or like a 5%, something that is manageable, I think is a very good idea. Because if you do this, those little bits over time are really what matter. When you've got no regional wealth, and you've got, for my example, 469, it doesn't seem to change the predicted approval loss. I did this when I had 25 regional wealth, and the numbers were the same. So I don't know if this is on a different scaling system. It was different on the content creator early access patch. And I think this is something that's subject to change. But for this video, let's do 50 to show off what this does. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. And as soon as you hear those church bells ringing, someone's getting married, and then we're going to have to deal with a massive tax. So we're at 469, there it goes. So we just hit September. I paused it before the church bells go off. And we're at 243 in the treasury. And that, you can hear them kind of distantly here. There you go. I'm not that dumb. I know those things actually work. So now that we've got that actual treasury, we could come back here. We could go to our hire mercenaries, and we could actually select this now, right? Hire this company. Or we can jump over to our retinue, press retinue customization, and now we can actually recruit men-at-arms. So I've made this mistake in my playthrough thinking, oh, cool, I just simply do this and I've got enough money to do that. Nope, you have to tax and you have to hit that penalty. Of course, dealing with that penalty is a matter of just simply going, okay, back to 0, and it'll be all right. People are going to have to recover from that massive hit. But this is why I think doing something like this or like this is very manageable. Small amounts, small numbers where you're like, all right, I'm already such a huge percentage of approval and I actually don't need to expand. Because remember, approval percentage will do a number of things. Controls overall population growth as well as morale of militia rallied from the settlement. So if your population is near kind of where you want it to be, or you don't plan on expanding your burgage plots anytime soon, you can hit them with a little bit heavier of a tax, because if you're not trying to expand, what's really the difference between 80 and 90% approval if the only difference is the amount of people coming in and your militia? So you can use this as a way to kind of ferry a lot of money out of regional wealth and into your treasury to help plan for a massive invasion or expanding your retinues, whatever. Because remember, retinues are a very strong fighting force that you can really tap into using your taxes. Now, the most active way to gain money is by trading. And trading is something that you can do as soon as you build a trading post. You can go ahead and start trading leather or any other thing that you produce or have in your entire region, your populace, whatever it is. And the way that trading works is when you put one person here, they will actively go and trade with the connecting regions. If you put multiple people here, those people will bring the stock from the granary, from the storehouse, the granary, whatever it is, and bring it here to the pantry or generic storage for this person to then go and trade it. Now, a trader on foot will not trade as much as a trader using a horse. And the horse has actually been fixed. It was not working during the content creator patch. The horse will now work, but it does seem to be a little weird and buggy, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But you would simply have these characters go ahead and do the trading for you. But how does that work? So we're going to go ahead and go to the trade button here. And if you do have a horse, you'd press order new horse and you'd press that here. And that would put a horse permanently at the trading post. Well, until you press that button. So what we've got here are all of our, not commodities, because that's in its own tab, but here's our construction, here's our crops, here's our food, here's our resources, as it were. And we can select a number of buttons. So I can press this drop down to either import or export this specific good, or do a full trade to basically hit the target of where we want to be with that good. We've got the goods name itself. We have our current surplus and then the desired surplus. So I either want to sell down to this number or buy up to this number. And then I have got two different things: the export price, how much money I'm going to get when I sell that resource, and then the import price, how much it's going to cost me, including the tariff, to buy that resource. And then I have two other big context clues. I have the global market supply, this little circle right here that is telling me right now it's at an average. It's not high, it's not low. And then I have the trade route button. Now, as it stands, when the game loads up, you do not have any developments to help you out. So this is just a generic, okay, it's 12 to establish a trade route for stone. And what a trade route means is that a traveling merchant that is not controlled by you is going to come to your location every handful of weeks, every month, whatever it is, and then they are going to trade specifically what you have set. Meaning, let's say stone I put to like export, then every month or whatever time interval, this person's going to come to the trade post and he is going to sell you stone or export. He's going to buy your stone at 1 gold a piece, or import, and he's going to come in here and sell you however many stone up to 80 at 11 per piece. So this is a passive way to do this. Now, what you really want to focus on for your very first region to get a lot of money is trade logistics. Establishing a new trade route always costs a max of 25. Take tools, for example. They're a very good early cash crop and quote unquote cash crop. And their initial trade route is 48 in regional wealth. This makes it so that it can happen at 25. It's way more accessible to set these things up with this development. You can eventually jump into better deals, which removes the tariff from foreign imports, effectively reducing all import prices by 10, allowing you to actually buy and sell a lot easier throughout your entire playthrough, right? You can see that we always have that big, huge difference between export and import. And this allows us to, like I said, buy and sell. We can start exporting one and actually buy things that we need at a reasonable price versus these massively inflated ones. Now, outside of that, we're going to go ahead and click on commodities. I have pressed this button and I have established a trade route for tools specifically. And what this is going to enable me to do, like I've said before, I'm going to start exporting these tools. We're going to have this person's going to come by. I think they're already on the map. No, they're not. No one's on the map right now. They're going to come by and they're going to buy as many tools as I've got down to the desired surplus for this amount, right? And to start this experiment, we're doing it here in April. We're going to jump ahead in time and we're going to show you what happens if you just set this and forget this, because you do have to manage your trades and check this menu every so often, or else you're going to oversaturate the market and drop this export price. Okay, so this guy's coming. Let's jump over to the next section where this number has actually dropped, and I'm going to show you and talk about what the ramifications, what the timeline is, all those things put together, as well as you doing your own trade routes using a horse. Jumping ahead in time, we can see that this guy is going to go ahead and sell some of our tools, and we can see also the export price has tanked. It's gone in half from 6 down to 3, and we see this little arrow telling us that the global market supply is oversupplied. And this character is going to come and go from these points on the map right here. Let's say trade point. Cheap goods for import, good value to export. We don't really know how this is going to actually play itself out. Of course, this is going to drastically change how the trade game works. But pretty much what's going to happen is this character will come onto the map. He'll walk over to our trade port, our trading post, and he will buy or sell depending upon what we've set things to here, right? But there is a little bit more to this. It's not just simply, oh, you've got 25 in stash. Well, I'm going to buy all 25. It's not quite like that. So if we come over here to the trading post, and I've kind of briefly touched on this, but let's go into it further. When I put people into the trading post, the first one goes out and sells things. It tells you it right here too. When employed, one family member travels to nearest possible destination to conduct trade, while other family members help manage the inventory. If needed, assigned families will automatically set up stalls in the marketplace to sell imported goods. So what's going to happen here is whatever this number is, the person that's on a trade route comes and takes that number and sells it for you. Or buys it, wherever the situation is, right? I'm sorry, they don't sell it for you. They buy it from you. Now, You do have the option to add a horse, and we'll talk about that in a second. But right now I have assigned a ox, and this will help us transport things to and from if need be. It helps to try to make this a much better, more fluid system. I'm going to even just put more people here. So over time, what will happen, this generic storage will go up, and then when the trader comes to this trading post, they will buy that number. Conversely, if I go ahead and go to people, I think I have like 40 Fred lines in my house, in my whatever livestock. This will do it. So you can see Earhart, he's carrying a rider. So he's coming over. He's going to bring some money, and then he's going to take another load here. Damn bandits. And let's see, he's going to come up here. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. He's almost there. So I've got 12 in there, and he leaves. Notice he didn't take it at all. And a weird thing is that this is my actual trader. It's kind of weird. The money that you'll get from this guy doesn't quite hit your bank right away. As soon as he comes, it doesn't just drop off the way it will with the other trader. It's a very funky system. You can notice too that this is mismatched. So this is a little bit bugged with your actual horse trader, meaning I bought a horse. This is my guy. He's coming and going as I see fit. So keep that in mind. That is something that is definitely subject to change. Now, if I go back to this trade tab, click on this guy, he's on the map right now, right? So if I go ahead and fast forward this, still not on the map. Basically, once we press this, once the guy comes back on the map, we can see where he is and his progress towards trading with us. And when he comes over, here he is. So he's on his way. And when he comes and makes it to us, he's going to buy whatever we have in storage. And like I said, this process is a little weird if you actually have someone on a horse doing some trading. But since this guy's just going to come off with the trade route, and he's going to come in here and buy those tools at that market saturated rate of 3. So how do we balance out that market saturated rate, right? So let's see. He's about to hit that. Watch my bad math skills kick in here in a little bit. So 26 is now loaded into his crate at at 78 because it's at a 3 gold here, right? So that's how that works. That's how that trader works. That's how this trade route works. So how long do we have to wait for this to correct? Let's jump ahead and find out. Looks like we are in the month of December here, and trade has balanced out. We are back to 6 gold a piece. That is down back to that little circle here, that well, not 0, but a circle. And we have quite a few stockpile of tools. So this enables us to go back to selling. So this shows you that we're on roughly like a 4-month cycle, right? 4 months on of profitability. We went from April to August of selling that good. Now from August here into December, where we had to wait for the market to correct. And if you actually don't let this correct, it will start to go even lower, and it will take even more time to correct. Now, again, the developer did say that this will be fixed soon, or at least patched. It was too drastic of a nerf, and that there will be, of course, different trade mechanics in the entire game. So I've went ahead and set this to export again, and we're going to fall into the same situation. So sometimes the trader's already on the map when you press that button, so keep that in mind. If you do set this to export and the trader's on the map, he won't do it unless you actually have a stockpile of things. And I don't think we actually have quite a few people here, but we don't have the... But the trader were to come on the map right now, even though I just sit export, it wouldn't matter because I don't actually have anything in generic storage. But as this kind of character comes 2 and 4, we have that export set up. They will come and they will buy whatever we can get back into the storehouse as fast as we can. We already have 41, so once that trader gets here, we're gonna have all of them in there. So again, this just shows you that you do just have to be careful. Trading is a very efficient way to make a lot of money, but if you aren't really keen to it and you set it and forget it, you're going to start making less and less money. And it's just like so many other systems in this game, you have to efficiently kind of monitor them. And there's no real kind of like hack here, quote unquote. Like I can just hold down tab and I can see 4-4. I can't really see any kind of marketing or market trading post overlay to get an idea without having this up and checking every month or so. But just kind of keep in mind, if you start something, let's just say in January, around April, you should see, okay, he just came in 300. We had quite a few in there, and he just went ahead and bought what he could. It seems that like 300 is around what he will give me at max. I think at one point I had 330 worth in here and he only gave me 300. So I don't know 100% how some of that works out. And it might be kind of, well, again, it's subject to change, but it might be a little set on a certain max amount or what have you. But again, if you said this in January, comes into April, just be sure to check to make sure that this price hasn't dropped. If it has, shut it off. Don't export it. Turn it back on again come August and rinse and repeat. Kind of keep that cycle going. But these are some of the ways that you can make a lot of money in Manor Lords. It's just going to require a little bit of patience, a little bit of know-how, a little bit of watching what you're doing, and also making sure you're not kind of extinguishing your natural resources for cash. Like if you were to say put clay tiles on this situation and you go right through it, well, you don't have clay tiles anymore, and now you can't upgrade your Burgage plots. You need to start getting your livestock trading posts online to start trading between your own regions. In another video, I'll go into that, but that's not directly aimed at making money for yourself. That's kind of a little bit of a more mid to late game, well, more late game thing than it is kind of early game thing. And I think people right now are struggling with making money in the early game more than anything. And go ahead and let me know in the comment section below if you have any other really cool tips to selling and making money, right? Like there's a lot of things that you can sell that are the byproducts of stuff, right? Like, oh, okay, I've gone ahead and made tons of flax, so I've got tons of linen, so I'm going to go ahead and now sell linen at 4 gold a shot, or wooden parts. Which I don't think there are any use for wooden parts, and wood is a replenishable resource. You can select a forester's hut and replenish all the trees that you hunt down, that you chop down. So wooden parts is another one that I didn't really talked about. Locked with the trade set to no trade. Yeah. Okay. I thought I was saying, wait, what? I was going to say locked in early access. But there are a lot of really different ones that you can jump into. So by all means, let people know in the comment section below if you've had a lot of luck selling a specific item or whatever it is. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.